My sister set my house on fire after I refused to give it to her. My parents begged me to forgive her, but I let the police arrest her anyway. I saved for 5 years to buy my first house. Nothing fancy, just a small 2-bedroom fixer-upper on the edge of town. Most people took one look and kept driving, but I saw potential. The paint was peeling, the floors were scratched to hell, and the kitchen cabinets were so warped you could see daylight through the gaps. But it was mine. I spent months renovating it myself, weekends ripping out old flooring, late nights watching YouTube tutorials until my eyes burned. My buddy Marcus helped with the bigger jobs, the plumbing and electrical work I couldn't handle alone. My shoulders ached for weeks. Some nights I fell asleep on the floor surrounded by tools, but slowly, room by room, it started coming together. When I finally invited my parents over to see the progress, they seemed proud in that quiet way parents do. My dad looked around and said, "You were always handy, son," like it was obvious I could renovate an entire house by myself. My mom smiled and said it was nice. Not amazing, not incredible, just nice. If my sister Emma had done the same thing, they would have thrown a parade. Speaking of Emma, she showed up a week later with her husband Derek and their 2-year-old. She didn't call first, just knocked on the door and walked in like she owned the place. She immediately started touring every room, opening closets, checking out the backyard through the windows. By the time we got to the kitchen, she'd already made up her mind. "This place is way too big for just you," she said, running her hand along the countertop I'd installed myself. "We need space for the baby. You should sign it over to us." I laughed. I actually thought she was joking. She wasn't. Derek pulled out a folder from his jacket. Inside were printed documents, some kind of transfer agreement they'd clearly prepared in advance. They'd actually planned this. "We'd pay you $400 a month to live in the basement," Derek said, like he was doing me a favor. "We already looked into finishing it. Shouldn't cost much." I stared at them. "You want me to give you my house and then pay rent in my own basement?" Emma crossed her arms. "It's not giving, it's helping family. If you say no, you're choosing money over blood." I told them to leave. Emma called me selfish. Derek muttered something about me being immature. My parents called that night saying I should hear them out and be the bigger person. I hung up. 2 weeks later, I had a work trip scheduled. 2 days, 1 state over, routine conference. I locked up the house, set the alarm, and drove out early that Tuesday morning. Everything was fine, until my neighbor called at 2 a.m. "Your house is on fire." I thought I misheard him. I made him repeat it. Then I threw everything in my bag and drove back through the night. I don't remember the roads, just the tightness in my chest getting worse with every mile. When I pulled onto my street, fire trucks were everywhere. Flashing lights, smoke still rising from the roof. Half my house was destroyed. The right side was completely blackened. Windows blown out. The deck I'd rebuilt by hand was just charred wood and ash. Everything I'd spent months building was gone. The fire investigator pulled me aside an hour later. "This wasn't an accident," he said. "We found accelerant near the side door. Someone set this." My security cameras had caught part of it. Footage showed a figure in a hoodie moving toward the side entrance minutes before the fire started. The angle wasn't clear enough to see a face, but the timeline was obvious. Whoever it was knew I wasn't home. The cops brought Emma in for questioning the next day. She tried to play it cool at first, said she was home all night. Then they showed her the neighbor's camera footage that caught her car 2 blocks from my house at 1:47 a.m. That's when she broke. She started crying, saying I didn't deserve the house anyway, that I was selfish for not sharing it with family, that someone like me didn't need that much space. She actually believed she was justified. My parents showed up at the police station within an hour. They weren't there to comfort me. They pulled me aside in the parking lot, both of them talking over each other. "She made a mistake. She has a baby. Think about your nephew. You can't do this to her. Just drop it. Family forgives family." I looked at my dad, then at my mom. I thought about the house I'd saved for, the work I'd put in, the nights I'd fallen asleep exhausted but proud. Then I looked at what was left of it, still smoldering 2 blocks away. I walked past them, straight to the detective standing by his car, and said I wanted to press full charges for arson. My parents haven't spoken to me since.